Then you got your people that saying, well, well, I got these other liabilities, which is why I have to work, because I have to take care of my family. I have all these child support claims and things like that against me. I have to pay this child support. I have to take care of these other dependents that I have. And then you look at them and you say, well, child support is extortion. Child support is being extorted by white supremacy. Is taking care of your children wrong, or do you have some responsibility or something that you should willingly want to help support your family? Absolutely. I think you should definitely be geared on supporting your family, but real support of your family. I'm not talking about extortion that we call supporting our children. Child support is extortion. The white man is forcing you, as a black man, as a person who considers himself to be a god, a divine being, a militant, a rebel, anything. The white man literally is extorting your ass. Him along with the black woman is extorting you out of fear, because you're afraid. Just be honest. He's extorting you to give a certain amount of money that he has decided that you have to give every month or week or whatever in order to help your children. That's black extortion. I mean, that's white extortion of black people. That's the child support system is nothing but extortion. Because I can understand if the money that you were giving your children was going to help them. And I told you this show tonight is the truth and nothing but the truth. That's all I want to talk about tonight. I'm not going to waste your time. If the money that you were giving your children under the auspices of child support was going to help them get a revolutionary education to become revolutionaries and become militarized and ready to mobilize to overthrow white supremacy, then I totally would understand the child support system. But since your money is going to consumerism and materialism, is going to help support your child, which is really not even yours. It's not yours, in fact. It's the color of your child. In fact, your child is a ward of the state. It belongs to the government. It belongs to the interests of white supremacy. You just think the child is yours because of the biological relationship that you had, or the genetic likeness. You think that this organic entity is yours, but it's not. It belongs to the state, and the state wants to help you pay for how it is going to mold that entity to be a subject of white supremacy. They're gonna force you to pay for the imprisonment of your child, because your child is a prisoner of white supremacy, of the institutions of white supremacy. That's why it's compulsory education. They have to go to school and they have to learn this in school and take all these particular tests. And this is imprisonment. If you can't pay for them to imprison your child in the public school system, then the government will pay, because the government pays for prisoners. The same institution that writes out welfare checks and put federal money into the school systems, that creates the free lunch programs, and the same institution, the same police correctional officers and police officers that lock up black people is the same ones that work in the school system. They cutting a check. They both work for the same government, for so many words. So this government will pay for the imprisonment of your children. But if they can get you to pay for the imprisonment of your children, because they already got your woman, so she's going to make sure that child is not learning anything about any black supremacy, any black nationalism, and the reason for that is because she's trying to fit into a society that is validating her in being is being pro-white supremacy. The society validates the woman, the black woman, into being pro-white supremacy. I mean, that's just a fact. So she's not going to be hard on no black nationalism and nothing like that for the child. She's going to go along with the good along. She's going to make sure that child becomes a effective and successful prisoner of white supremacy. She's going to make sure that. So the money that you are basically extorted out of is to pay for the imprisonment and the incarceration of your children ultimately. Even your tax dollars pay for that. They pay for the incarceration of the 90% of black males that's locked up in Rikers Island out of the 12,000 in Rikers Island. The 12,000, 90% of them is black. So you're paying for that. You're paying for the pre-incarceration, which is education, the public food system, and the post-incarceration, which is them actually getting locked up in prison for a system that is set up against them. So you saying, hey, I got to pay this child support. Honestly, if you have logically come to the conclusion that you need to and want to pay this child support, that's your decision. What it is, though, is extortion. I'm just going to tell you, when somebody force you to do something and make you do, and then tell you how much you need to pay and threaten to send marshals and gangbangers and thugs to your door if you don't do this, that, and other, you are being extorted. That's just what it is. I'm going to tell you that. So how can you be a revolutionary and you accept being extorted by the white man or being extorted by anybody? You're no revolutionary. You're being extorted. And the system is meant to destroy you. So it's not meant to take the money that the child needs. The system is not meant to take care of the actual the needs of the child. It's meant to break through methods of extortion to economically break the black man. That's why, you know, every human. Why does welfare? Now watch this. Welfare gives every person the same amount of money. The welfare system doesn't care whether you were rich before you needed welfare or poor. You're still going to get the same amount of money, each individual. Am I correct? You're going to get so many $100 a month, you know, food stamps that you can buy food with, and a certain amount of cash due to the amount of children that you have. And they may take into consideration how much income you have, but it's all standardized. So they don't care if you was a billionaire and then you go for welfare, you're still going to get the same amount of welfare that a poor person is going to get. But why is it that when you start to get people from child support, you don't have a standardized thing based on human needs and necessities? You actually have to take the largest portion to make sure you break or destabilize the income of the father. Have y'all noticed that? Tell me if I'm making this up. You have to go to the father and say, well, look, since you're making some rappers and some of these rappers, you see they have child support, actors and all that, you see their child support $9,000 a month. I almost want to say Chief Keef, his child support was like $12,000 or $13,000 a month. Just something that's ridiculous that we know an individual does not need that type of money. Then what is it? What's the case? How is this coming up? Because the extortion, the white supremacy extortionists want to break the black man. They want to really remove your economic power. They want to take away how many AKs you can buy, how much economic power, political power that you can have as an individual. And how do they do that? They use the black woman in order for her to, sign off and, let's extort this nigga. Who does this nigga think he is? As soon as a nigga think he gets big enough or too big, they know exactly how to use that black woman in order to bring him down. Child support is extortion. If you don't mind being extorted by the government and the system of white supremacy, that's totally up to you. But that's really what it is. So you can't tell me that, my reason for not really being 100% on black supremacy or being a revolutionary is because I'm willingly being extorted. I must participate in this extortion that is going on me. Not take care of my children, but being extorted. In order to take care of your children, you would have to be instituting something revolutionary as it relates to black supremacy in order to truly take care of your children, in order truly to move them to some true place in consciousness. Otherwise, you're not taking care of your children. You're doing what these farmers are doing. You know, with the new farming system, how they don't even take care of the chickens. They just plump them up. They just take them and stuff them with hormones and everything they need to guarantee that they'll be perfect for the market, so that they'll be perfectly edible, the perfect type of chicken that you can eat. They're not taking care of them, but it's minimal. You can call it taking care of them. But they're not even dealing with the consciousness of the chickens anymore. I mean, I'm sure y'all saw the picture where they're able to keep the children and to keep the chicken in a vegetated state, like cryogenic, where there's no consciousness to this chicken, but it's growing physically. So they found a way to aid in the physical development and growth of the chicken while the chicken is unconscious. That's what's happening with our children. You're not taking care of them if you're not developing their minds into the gods and goddesses that they're supposed to be. You're not doing anything just because you're sending money or sending a check. You're not doing a goddamn thing. And you could be supporting and funding a black devil against you at some point. I mean, some people don't want to hear the show tonight, but I said that I'm going to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Some of those children that you're paying out of extorted child support that you can't even see, or that you're able to see within such a small window that can be ineffective in their life, due to the government have complete control over that woman's mind and white supremacy having her mind, you're funding that child, but that child will grow up and become a goddamn black devil. And I know you're obsessed with yourself and your DNA and your genetics. You're like, just because this child came from me, I want to support this child's going to be me, she's going to grow up to be me. Bullshit. That child potentially is going to grow up without the presence of their consciousness being molded into something. There is a statistical probability that that child will be a black devil, and you are funding that by not participating in the cultivation of the consciousness and the development of that child. That's a fact. Not every child. Some children, yeah, they're going to wake up. If you really are, let me tell you the ones that will. I'm about to hit you with this. If you really are a revolutionary and you really are doing something effective and impactful to cause change in the world, and that child finds out about you, because every child wants to discover and find out who their parents are, whether they were adopted, whether they were abandoned, whether they never met their parents. They always get on the quest and search for who their real parents are and who their father are at some point. And they find out something great about you. That says something dynamic. That does something to their psyche, where they say, I can be that. Manifest your DNA. That activates the DNA of your children. So when they see you doing this, and my daddy did this, and he was so great, and he did that, then they have to compete. And they want to be in the likeness of their father, and the likeness of that entity, by you really applying it and manifesting your DNA. But if they find out that all my father was a weak nigga that got extorted by child support and did the minimum by paying it, then what is that going to say for them? What is that going to say for the future, what they're going to be? My father was just a weak-ass nigga that got extorted to pay child support, and at least he played that. What contribution did he make to the social change or in the creation and development of society? How did he break the mold for black oppression and suppression and subjugation? All we're guaranteeing through this voluntary extortion, through acceptance extortion, is that we'll have another generation of children that will be extorted the way it is going, until somehow we break the mold, we break out of the matrix.